All right, people. So somebody asked me to do a rant on Michael Brown and this whole situation. I mean, I've already touched on this a little bit, but I mean, now there's more protest, with the Eric Garner shit and whatever, and I think this is all just a bunch of, mainstream media manipulation, because if you look at police brutality, it's an issue. It's a problem. Because there's a lot of videos of police acting very brutal. There was this one video of this, I believe it was a sergeant, or at least I believe he was a high-ranking police officer. I'm not positive on that. I know he was involved in the police, but he's like, I'm pretty sure he was. But they just had got all these like military-style MRAPs, and there's a person videotaping him, and they're like, "Why do you have all these?" And he's like, "To fight the constitutionalists because they store up ammunition." So it's like this guy just says we're fighting constitutionalists. I mean, so if we follow the Constitution and if we are upholding it to the highest value, then we're the enemy. And if we store ammo, which is a totally logical thing to store ammo. I mean, what if there's a collapse of society? What if there's, anarchy? You want a lot of guns to be able to protect yourself. I mean, the government stockpiles weapons. Are they terrorists now? I mean, it's like they're like, oh, if you stockpile food, you could be a terrorist. What? Like, how am I a terrorist if I stockpile? I showed the actual documents from the FBI in one of my previous videos of where it says if you stockpile food, you could be a terrorist. If you pay with cash, you could be a terrorist. I mean, it's just fucking retarded what they consider terrorists now. They used to say, you're either with us or you're with the terrorists. Well, I guess I'm a terrorist because I don't support all these useless wars in the Middle East. So anyway, back to the Michael Brown situation. Police brutality is an issue. It is a big issue with police. I wouldn't say it is a big issue, actually, because if you get killed for a little petty crime, some people are like, oh, we shouldn't have been doing that wrong in the first place. Well, I don't think you should be killed for certain things. I think a police officer has a right to kill you if you are armed in looking to kill somebody. Like those people in the Ferguson protest who were shooting at the firemen. The police should have put a bullet right in their motherfucking heads. Why aren't they shooting those people? It's like, I don't get it. Why aren't they shooting the people who are trying to kill firemen? Take them out. Take their asses out. And if you don't take them out, that's just going to incite more people to be violent. Like, they didn't even seem to go after the actual violent and criminal protesters during those protests. So, I mean, police brutality, there's a lot of cases, I've covered them on my channel, of police officers being too brutal. And again, there is a time where police officers have a right to be violent, but I think they're they're doing it way too much. But in the Michael Brown case, I mean, the guy did reach for his gun. The guy was charging after him. Could he have maybe used a taser or another weapon? Maybe. But I mean, if you're gonna go apeshit about this case, I mean, then you should really be going apeshit about all the other acts of police brutality. I mean, I think I don't think you should incite Darren Wilson or, give him a manslaughter charge, definitely. Is he innocent? I wasn't there. There's no video of it, so I mean, you heard about what the prosecutor said, but I still do not think no way you could incite, give Darren Wilson a manslaughter charge or something like that, because I don't think it was murder, and I don't think there's enough evidence to give him a murder or manslaughter charge. But see, this is what they're doing. They're making a huge fucking deal about this Michael Brown case and saying, and then you got all these black people out there. Oh, am I racist now because I didn't call them African Americans? I mean, it's weird, but that's a separate issue. So, You got all these black people saying, police are bad, and it's really demonizing true protesters of police brutality like myself. And it's really giving the First Amendment a bad name too. Because if, this is classic what they do here. They take a legitimate issue, and they, that people have, or a legitimate disagreement people have with the government, and then they have some crazy person, or there's like a crazy person that goes out and kills 5 people, and they say, oh, they were for closing the borders. So then it really demonizes the people who are actually the legitimate Like I just saw there was this guy who like went across the border to fucking I think North Korea or something. Somehow because he wanted to defect or something from the United States, and then like he was a fan of Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theory show. And whether that's true or not, I mean, it kind of seemed like he said it on his own. But I mean, a lot of times I think the media really comes out and says, "Oh, this guy who killed," they're like, "Oh, the Boston bomber was a fan of the InfoWars show." They're like, a fan of Alex Jones, or this guy was a libertarian. I mean, it really kind of demonizes true people. They do that a lot. And like there was a guy who went on a shooting spree in Austin a few weeks ago, and they're like, oh, he was for closing the borders. I mean, so it really and whether that's true or not, it really demonizes the people who are actually for these issues. So anyway, like with the Eric Garner thing, I think that if you use him to try to stop police brutality, that would be a lot better, because it's pretty obvious that it was a manslaughter, and that guy should be tried for manslaughter. There's no way he wasn't violent with the cops. He was unarmed. There was like 5 cops around there. In the little petty crime of selling cigarettes, which is pretty much capitalism. He's trying to make a living for himself. So yeah, police brutality is a problem. It is an issue, and we should work to stop it. But using cases like Michael Brown to say, "Oh, this is police brutality," it's not going to work, because that obviously wasn't a huge act of police brutality there. So, and then you got people burning shit down, and I hate. It's gotten so annoying how people are like, "Oh, the people who are burning shit down are evil." Yeah, of course they're evil, but that's all they say. They just, "Oh, the people who are burning shit down are, oh, they're so crazy," and that's all they fucking talk about for weeks. I just want to say, there's more to it than that. All right, people, there's more to it than just crazy people burning shit down. All right, are those people bad? Yeah, I mean, if you really think that police brutality is an issue, then take it up on the cops. Go protest to cops. Don't be violent about it. That's not going to get shit done. That's just going to escalate police being more brutal, because they're going to have to bring in more police to fix the problem. So, yeah, obviously those people are bad, but that's all I hear from people. Probably your typical conservatives like Bill O'Reilly. Well, the Ferguson protesters are bad. That's all he's going to say. He's not going to rant on the police state. There's something called posse comitatus, which really limits the influence of the military here in the homeland of America. Really prohibits the military from being on our streets, or at least limits it. And I see that becoming. I see posse comitatus kind of being obliterated with the militarization of the police, because the police are kind of the military now. They're becoming more militarized. It's like you can't even see a difference sometimes, because they're buying the MRAPs, they're buying tanks. It's fucking ridiculous. Now, in certain situations, do you need some bigger equipment to deal with shit? Yeah, but I mean, why do the police in a small little village have a fucking tank or whatever? So, I mean, it's really more than just fucking crazy protesters protesting and burning shit down. They're not protesters, they're rioters. If they call them protesters, it's kind of like saying, and then you could call me a protester, and so it's like kind of demonizing the First Amendment as well. But it's more than just crazy rioters burning shit down. There's many more, and again, they all play, it's called propaganda. They all play mind games with you, the mainstream media and the government does. So they come out and they show all these people protesting police brutality and burning shit down, and then those people are then the issue of police brutality is demonized, and it's almost like it's non-existent. It's to the common person, because they're like, oh, look at those crazy people protesting police brutality. Police brutality must not even be an issue since crazy people are protesting it. So that's kind of the bigger issue to it. I mean, the bigger issue to the Michael Brown case is really promoting the police state, bringing in a police state, and demonizing the First Amendment as well. And it can also serve as a distraction to distract us from other issues. And they're obviously trying to stir up rioters, because they're like, oh, we're gonna release the verdict in a few hours. We're gonna release it in a few hours. Why would you fucking say that? I mean, that is just crazy. Why would you tell the fucking people you're gonna release the verdict? Then they could gather and protest. So then they release it at fucking like 8 or 9 at night. It's perfect time for the protesters. They're already gathered. They already know it's coming out. Just again, they're either the biggest dumbasses in the world, or they're trying to incite violence. So there you go, people. There's your rant on the Michael Brown situation.